Before I start today's video, please subscribe to the channel because this might be the longest video on the channel. And this is probably the longest preparation I have on this channel. So yeah, if you subscribe to the channel, like this video, and press the notification bell, it would mean a lot to me. Please, I beg you. Okay, anyway, let's talk about Cleveland. The Cleveland Browns have to be one of the worst teams in NFL history. From draft picks to decisions, but I think the saddest thing and the worst thing to ever happen to the Cleveland Browns would be the existence of the Baltimore Ravens as a franchise and as an NFL team. Here's why. I want you to imagine this. Imagine I'm your therapist, right? I want you to imagine this. You cheered on for a football team. A football team from your city. You cheered for them for many years, and you supported them until your last breath. But the owner of the team decided to leave the city with the team and move to a different one. How would that make you feel? Well, if you were a fan of the Cleveland Browns, you would know exactly what it's like. Before I get to that, let's go back to the beginning, where everything started. The Cleveland Browns were founded in 1945 by Brown and a businessman, Arthur B. McBride, and played their first game a year later, in 1946, and played at their stadium at the time, the Cleveland Stadium. The Cleveland Browns were dominant, winning 4 championships between 1946 and 1949 in the AAFC. And before I continue on, I bet you're questioning what I just stated. The AAFC. Yes, the AAFC was a league that was competing against the NFL for a couple of years now until 1950, where the AAFC joined the NFL to become one. That's why there's an NFC and a AFC. So you might be thinking, so ever since the merger they've been terrible? Well, not exactly. The Browns, after the merge of the NFL and the AAFC, won 4 more championships due to the fact that there's been no Super Bowls up till now between 1950, 1954, 1955, and 1964. They would make the playoffs until 1994, at least consistently. There have been a couple of years that they didn't make it, but most of the time between the merge and 1994, they would make the playoffs. In 1995, in my mind, in my opinion, the saddest thing and the worst thing to ever happen to the city of Cleveland. The owner, Art Modell, who purchased the Browns in 1961 before their final championship in 1964, announced his plans to move the Browns to Baltimore. After threats of legal action from the city and fans of Cleveland, this is no joke, this actually happened, and an agreement was made. Art Modell was allowed to establish a new NFL team in Baltimore. There was supposed to be a new franchise while retaining the contracts of all Browns personnel. But Art Modell was not allowed to use the name, logo, training facility, and history of the Cleveland Browns. The Baltimore Ravens are here, and the Browns were suspended operations from 1996 to 1998. Let's start with whatever happened to the Browns after Art Modell left. Because once we do, we see what is the difference between the new Cleveland Browns 2.0, and the original Cleveland Browns and the Baltimore Ravens. The Browns, after 3 years, announced an expansion team owned by Jimmy and Dee Haslam allowing them to get the first overall pick in the 1999 NFL Draft, which of course was Tim Couch. We all know how he turned out, only playing 5 seasons in the NFL. The Browns from 1999 to present time have only made the playoffs once in 2002 and have only had 2 winning seasons in 2002 and 2007. It's a sad fate for a team who had talent like Tim Couch and Johnny Manziel. But now with head coach Kevin Stefanski, the offensive coordinator of the Minnesota Vikings, and starting quarterback first overall pick in 2018, Baker Mayfield, who knows, they might be able to win their first Super Bowl as the Cleveland Browns 2.0 and get rid of the Factory of Sadness. With the first pick of the 1996 NFL Draft, the Baltimore Ravens select Jonathan Ogden, offensive lineman, UCLA. Before we get into that, we need to talk about what happened to Art Modell after leaving the Cleveland Browns. After moving to Baltimore, after the previous team, the Baltimore Colts, left Baltimore for Indianapolis, becoming the Colts over there. So when the draft came to the Baltimore Ravens, with their first 2 picks in the first round, decided to make them great picks. And they turned out to be great picks, with first pick of the NFL Draft, and Jonathan Ogden, Hall of Famer, and with the 26th pick of that same draft, the Baltimore Ravens selected Hall of Famer Ray Lewis from University of Miami as a linebacker. This was the best decision Art Modell could ever make as an owner. Not just the fact he selected 2 players that would eventually become Hall of Famers, but due to the fact that the Baltimore Ravens, since coming to the NFL, the Baltimore Ravens have won 2 Super Bowls with head coach Brian Billick and quarterback Trent Dilfer in 2001 against the New York Giants, and won their second Super Bowl in 2013 with head coach John Harbaugh and quarterback Joe Flacco against John's brother and head coach Jim Harbaugh and quarterback Colin Kaepernick against the 49ers, and made the playoffs 12 times since they came into the NFL as of today. And now, as of today, after having the best record in Super Bowls, being 100% wins, as of today, Michael Vick 2.0 and Lamar Jackson and head coach John Harbaugh are looking like one of the best teams for the next 10 years. With that incredible offensive line, with Evan Ingram, Mark Andrews, and Marquise Brown, Antonio Brown's cousin, and that incredible defense with Marcus Peters, Earl Thomas III, and rookie Patrick Queen. That's why the Baltimore Ravens' existence is the worst thing to ever happen to the Browns. All the good things happened to the Ravens after they left Cleveland, and all the worst things happened to the Cleveland Browns 2.0. But who knows? Maybe times will change. And maybe the Cleveland Browns will win their first Super Bowl. And maybe the Cleveland Browns will laugh at the Baltimore Ravens because of the first time the Baltimore Ravens has seen the ugly.